What's up, everyone? We're Team 1, and we worked on the website DollaDollaBills. Our goal in developing the website was to bring more awareness to younger people about their representatives and the types of legislation that they support. And we wanted to do this because voter literacy is super important for elections, and we wanted people to have better information when they make their voting decisions. And we wanted to do this by providing lookup of congresspeople and other representatives, along with connecting them with the districts in the United States that they represent and the bills that they support.
What's up, y'all? My name is Will. I'm a senior, and for this project, I worked on pretty much the full stack for our website, and also served as our leader for the final phase. What I did consisted mostly of designing our database in MySQL, and also populating it with the data that we scraped from external APIs. I also worked on implementing the search functionality for our front end, both site-wide and model-specific. And I also managed our AWS instances.
I'm Ian. I'm also a senior, and I worked mostly on our front end, and I served as our leader for phase 3. The big stuff I worked on was dynamic page population on model and instance pages, as well as model page filtering and the tabs on the model pages. And I also worked on website styling across all our pages.
Hi, I'm Reagan. I'm a senior backend developer. This semester, I worked on our Postman documentation and keeping it updated along with the Postman testing. I worked on the backend API endpoints and keeping those updated throughout the project. And finally, I worked on the filtering functionality.
Hi, I'm Samia. I'm a junior, and this semester I worked on the front end and as the phase 1 leader for this project. And I worked on the bills and politician models and instance pages. I worked on sorting for the model pages, and I worked on the provider visualizations.
Hi everyone, my name is City. I'm a full stack developer, and I was the phase 2 leader. I helped William design the database and also populated it by scraping APIs. And I also worked on some of the backend functionality for searching and sorting. And I also created the visualizations on the front end for our model pages. So now let's jump into our demo.
And here's our splash page for DollaDollaBills. At the top, we have a nav bar for 4 models: bills, politicians, districts, and states, along with our visualizations and about page and a site-wide search option. If we scroll down, we also have links to our 4 model pages too. And if we start with bills.
So on the bills page, we can see there's a sort by option, as well as 5 filtering options for party, state, chamber of Congress, bill type, and the year that the bill came out. If we just pick some random filtering options here, and then we go to the search tab at the top, we can see that all the model pages will keep your filtering and sorting selections and still allow you to search on those. And then we can pick any instance and go to the instance page for that bill, where we have the bill title, as well as a whole bunch of information about it and a word cloud of its words and links to the associated politicians and states. And next, we'll go to our politicians model page.
And just like our bills page, we give the same options to sort, search, filter. And if we click on Pete as our instance, we see a bunch of information about this House representative, his Twitter feed. And at the bottom, we can see his state, any bills connected to the politician and their district. And if we move to districts.
All right, this is our district model page. Same deal with sorting, filtering, and searching. Down here, we display all the districts in a sort of list format. And if we click on one, we can see an example of an instance page. So we start out with some basic demographic information. On the left, we have a map, which unfortunately is not working on our AWS, but if we look at our local version, that's what it's kind of supposed to look like. So going back, we have cards for the district state as well as their House representative. And even further, we have a list of cities which are searchable, as well as counties and zip codes. So now moving on to our last model, which is states. You can see going down cards for each state. And if we go all the way to the bottom and go to the last page, we can take a look at the Texas card. So clicking on it, we start out with some basic facts and pictures, including the majority party and the governor and region and some other demographic data, as well as some emblems of the state. And here, going down further, we've reused the card components for our other, basically everything connected to the state, to display them all right here.
So for our visualizations page, so we have two tabs. So one tab is our visualizations and the other one is our provider visualizations, which is Vax Tracker. And for our visualizations, so our first one is a bubble chart showing our politicians with the highest contributions to bills. So if you hover over any of the bubbles, they just get bigger. And as you can see, John Kernan has 20 bills. He has the biggest bubble. So they're just sorted by size kind of. And then we have a bar graph showing our number of bills per state. So if you hover on each bar, it shows you the exact number of bills. As you can see, Texas has the highest number of bills, which is 87. And you can hover over any of the other ones to get the amount. Lastly, we have our politician ages. We have like under 30 to over 80. And as we can see, our highest one is 60 to 69, which is our red chart, or red graph. Moving on to our provider visualizations, which is Vax Tracker. We can see that we also have a bubble chart for them, which shows the percentage of population vaccinated in each country. And you can just, it's by percentage. So if you like hover over any of the bubbles, you can just see a clearer picture of which ones. We also have a bar graph showing the percentage of people likely to take the vaccine per country. And it's kind of like a very uniform chart because a lot of countries would want to take the vaccine, as you can see from this graph. And lastly, we have a pie chart showing the number of countries that have approved each vaccine. As you can see, the highest number of countries is 74 countries that approved the BNT 162 vaccine. And you can just hover over and see the names and numbers of countries that have approved vaccines. And yeah, that's all for visualizations. We can move on to looking at our About page.
We have a little explanation of what our website is about. Then scrolling down, we have our team members, and we have linked their LinkedIn profiles on it. So feel free to add us if you want to. And then going further down, we have commits, total commits, issues, and tests, and the tools that we have used to create our website, and the APIs we have scraped. And then finally, our GitLab repo and our Postman documentation. And then going all the way back up, if we can use our site-wide search to search cruise, for example, and we can see we have matches under all of the categories. And of course, we can click on them and it will lead us to their instance page.
So now moving on to our self-critique. So first, let's talk about what we did well. So I think our group was very good with strong and reliable communication. We just made sure if anyone was blocked, we always communicated and talked to each other about it and helped solve each other's issues. We also were pretty consistent with creating issues on GitLab. Whenever we had an issue to create, we were prompt and quick with that. And we had a pretty polished front end and a really performant back end. What we learned is, first of all, with a big project like this, it's very important to be good at delegation and coordination. And we really learned a lot of that throughout this entire process. Also, there were so many software engineering tools involved, such as like React and front-end development and all of that, and back-end development. And we learned all these tools along the way. Also, about testing. Before this, we were not as aware of the importance of testing in this process. So we learned that front-end testing especially is almost as important as backend testing. And we were tasked with writing a technical report for this project. So we also learned how to do that in this process. And also acting as a customer in addition to a developer was another skill that we learned. What we taught each other a lot of things, but mainly we taught each other that it's important to hold each other accountable and be accountable. And time management, we taught each other that it's very important and how to improve each other's time management. And also hosting on AWS, Will was tasked with doing that, and he really helped explain it to all of us.
All right, in terms of what we can do better, one thing that really stuck out to us was just using the CI/CD pipeline as it was intended, meaning fixing it when things went wrong and using it as a tool to sort of help you develop small features quickly. Kind of going off of that, also we could have done more test-driven development. A lot of times we found ourselves writing our tests after the fact instead of before, and then coding to the tests, which is what we really should have been doing. And also just generally starting tasks earlier, to avoid time crunches. In terms of the peer reviews, they definitely encouraged us to keep working hard, reading all the feedback and things that they found sometimes didn't make sense, which in turn motivated us to, I guess, improve those things for the next phase. Also, again, emphasized like the importance of getting things done on time and being accountable. There were some things that we're still a little bit confused about, one of which was the need to downgrade libraries to make compiling the project work, especially for the front end. Also, getting sort of non-deterministic results in our GUI test, which caused some of them to break unexpectedly. And also we were a bit puzzled at how complex the tool chain for modern web development has gotten, and how that might be able to be improved or anything. And finally, the strange issue we had with Mapbox, which prevented us from actually deploying it on AWS.
So jumping into our developer critique, we can see Vax Tracker's homepage. And if you refresh the page, we'll see some pretty cool animations that they've set up. And when you scroll down, it links to each of their 4 models. So they have vaccines, clinical trials, global data on vaccines, and then global beliefs surrounding COVID and the vaccines. And just looking at each of their model pages, they're all pretty cleanly organized with sorting and filtering. And they have a search page, which is really, really fast. Results come up really quickly, and they highlight the relevant information.
And now to start with what they did well. They had a very well done and clean splash page and front end all around. And along with what we just showed, their searching was done instantly, which was very cool to watch. Finally, they responded to our user stories very efficiently and promptly. Their RESTful API was fast and effective. It got everything that we wanted to see from the website. Along with their API endpoints, it was formatted very clean and indented very well so that any user could understand what they were looking at.
So going into how well they implemented their user stories, we thought most of them were implemented really well. And some of the issues that were not implemented in the previous phase are currently being implemented. So they did a good job communicating their expectations with us. And then going into what we learned about their website, their UI was very clean and looked really nice. So it gave us some ideas for functionality for if we want to improve our website or any future projects. And we also got a lot of good, useful information about vaccines, such as like the beliefs and how different countries are implementing their vaccinations. And everything else looked really well as well, good as well.
So in terms of some things that we think they could do better, we think that some of their model pages could use more color to make the pages easier to navigate. There's a lot of black text on white backgrounds that can be somewhat hard to parse if you don't know where to look. And in general, some more styling on instance pages for the same reason, just to help readability and help users find the information that they're really interested in. And lastly, what puzzles us about their website? We're pretty puzzled at how they made their search so fast, and also how they got their splash page to look so professional with cool animations on the site loading. And we're also slightly puzzled by their model page formatting and how users parse information from it. And that's our presentation. Thank you guys for watching. If you have questions, drop them in the comments, smash the like button, and subscribe.